Hey guys, it's number 7 reason to love Riversong guitars, and that is our headstock design. I love this. I think it's really cool, and the history of our headstock design is that we had all of our staff at our family music store and at Riversong Guitars. While we were trying to design this, we decided that we wanted a couple things to happen. One of the things was we wanted it to be straight string pull off of the nut. And that's what this is all about, is a straight string pull. So what I did was I drew the nut, the fretboard, and I drew 6 straight lines coming off the nut. And I said, okay guys, let's design a headstock around that. So we knew exactly where the tuning machine heads had to be, and we didn't know the placement, where we were going to go here and what we were going to do like this. But this is the design that we came up with. It's really a nice, comfortable looking design, but more importantly, as with a lot of the things that we do here at Riversong, it's form following function. And the function of this is something that the guitar industry knows really well, and it's called straight string pull, where the strings go straight off the nut. So let's look at that and why it's important. You may not know this, but I am a whiteboard artist. And as you can see, there's our Riversong tuning machine head. And what happens when we have our nut and we have our string channels that go on the nut. See, I told you I was an artist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 5-string guitar. This is actually one that we'd like to build for Keith Richards. Anyway, so you have your strings there, and if you have your string breaking over the nut and it's going off to the side like this, well, what happens is your string is actually a wound string, and it acts like a little file. So over time, you're bending your notes. You bend a note here. Well, guess what? It's pulling that string this way, and it's rubbing against there. And that's acting like a file. And what you want it to do, if it's going to be bending over, you want it to be acting as a file, going straight off of it, so it seats that nut better. And if we look at that object from this side like this, and we look at that same nut, basically what we want is our nut slots to fit perfectly with the strings. And they're all different gauges. But if it's winding and it's pulling off to the side, what happens is, pulls off to that side, you're actually starting to wear this way more. Now your nut slot is much wider. And then your string is sitting back here. And that gives you dissonant sound. It doesn't sound as good. It's not as clear and clean. It could sound sitarish, if you will. And that's not what we want. So with our guitar design, when we take a straight line, this is not to scale, but it's going to give you an idea of what happens. You have your strings coming straight off here like that one. You've got this guy like that. Like that. Boy, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be to draw straight lines, but I think you get the point and you get the idea that as you go across, everything is straight string pull on the guitar headstock. And if you look at our guitar headstock, you can actually see that the D and the G string actually bend just a little bit. That was the design concession we made because we wanted to leave a little bit of space between the tuners. By leaving that little bit of space, if you switched up to Grovers or something like that, it's not so dependent on using the exact tuners that we use. Of course, we love our tuners. I'm going to give a shout out to Graph Tech here with the ratio tuners. These are different gear ratios for each string. So that's something we're going to talk about more later on, but it is really fantastic. And that's our headstock. Number 7 reason to love Riversong guitars.